Hello, Bertrand.
Hello, Rick. It's good to hear you. We just have to get used to the little delay. You will see there are 2 or 3 seconds of delay between your question and my answers, but we get used to it very quickly.
Okay, understood. Yes, it's quite a technological achievement that you're undertaking here, and you know, it's just really it's really enjoyable for us to watch from, you know, be able to watch online and everything. Tell me how you're feeling, how things are going so far.
Well, it was a difficult morning, I would say, because, you know, we made this pit stop in Ohio, Cincinnati, so we had a beautiful welcome. The people were so nice, and that was the good point. Now, the bad point is that during the night, there was some fog. The airplane was full of water, and we lost 2 hours cleaning the plane and getting the water out of all the pieces. So when I took off, it was already in the thermals. It was very, very bumpy. It was very hot. So in contrast, the part of the flight right now is very, very peaceful, very, very quiet. I'm above the clouds, above the thermals, in the blue sky, and heading for Washington.
That sounds great. So you're getting full solar power right now, correct? I mean, it's the sun is shining right on your solar panels.
Absolutely, I have full power. The batteries are completely full also, and already ready for the night, I would say. You know, when you fly toward the east, you have the sun really a very long time on your wings, and it makes things easy.
That's great. Well, needless to say, you have had to improvise on this trip, especially with the last leg. And wanted to know, are you still on schedule to arrive in D.C. at the time?
Yes, you know, we really had to fight hard to find the weather slots to get in D.C. on time. We have the Secretary of Energy, Mr. Moniz, who is coming to see the plane on Monday morning, and it was really important that the plane would be there. So our weatherman did a tremendously good job. But sometimes, you know, we had the weather window between really 2 thunderstorms. Raining the day before, raining the day after, just one day to fly. And when it was not good weather long enough, we had to stop in the middle like yesterday. But if the technique continues to go so well, I should land in Washington, D.C. During the next night, and everything will be ready for Monday morning. And tomorrow afternoon also, we have a big public day at the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum in Dallas. The plane will be there, and the public will be able to see it. You know, by your own experience, how important it is to motivate the people in the public about all these technologies, these experimental aircrafts. You're doing the same with your beautiful exhibition in Oshkosh.
Yeah, yes. In fact, that's coming up fairly soon. 42 days or so, 43 days. And I guess it's a shame that our schedules couldn't mesh a little better, where we maybe could have had Solar Impulse on display at Oshkosh.
I know, Rick, and you know, everybody is asking me, are you coming to Oshkosh? Are you coming to Oshkosh? You have really such a famous meeting there, but the timing for the weather is not so good. You know, end of July, anyway, it's quite windy for an airplane like ours. For normal airplanes, it's fine, but for us, we would really suffer. And it needs a really big hangar. It's very windy. North of Chicago is the windy region, and we cannot, unfortunately, afford it in terms of flight parameters.
Yeah, I understand that. You've been to Oshkosh quite a bit yourself. I know, celebrating some of your milestones. Can you describe what you feel about attending Oshkosh and what your impressions are?
Yes, the first time I was invited was just after my balloon flight around the world. And it was fabulous because actually it was the first time I met Chuck Yeager, I met Dick and Bertrand. So it's an amazing place to meet all these pioneers. And you know, for a European guy like me, it's also awesome to see how efficient are your air traffic controllers, because I was seeing so many airplanes in the sky at the same time. In Europe, they don't manage so many airplanes at the time, and there are very strict limitations and rules and so on. And the first time I saw some squadrons of B-17, of Mustang P-51, the Warhawks, you know, all these flying fortress and bombers from the Second World War, it was amazing. I think there were 200 or 300 airplanes in the air at the same time, and I was opening my eyes and saying, wow, I'm in America.
Yeah, that's really neat too. Yeah. I was going to ask a little bit of how the airplane itself flies and how the response to the flight controls and those kinds of things. Could you expand a little bit about those?
Yes. Well, with a very big wingspan we have, 208 feet, for such a small weight, which is 3,500 pounds, it makes it very sensitive to turbulence. And it's also a lot of inertia because of the wingspan. So when you move the controls left or right, in the beginning nothing happens. And when it happens, you have really to coordinate also very well the stick and the rudders with the feet, because you have a lot of adverse yaw. And if you correct, then you start with the pilot-induced oscillations. So I really emphasize the fact that we had to train a lot on the flight simulator already. Even the test pilots in the beginning had problems on the flight simulator itself. And then we have to learn how to do it. And after that, well, it's okay. When it's turbulent, it's difficult, but otherwise it's a question of training.
Is there anything you can compare flying the Solar Impulse to, or is it absolutely unique?
It's a mix between a lot of different things. It's like a gigantic hang glider. I did a lot of hang gliding, and in 1976 they produced the Dragonfly, which had a big wingspan, very big aspect ratio, and everybody had problems to handle it because it made pilot-induced oscillations a little bit like this one. And maybe another way to feel how it is in the cockpit, it's a little bit sometimes like in a helicopter, because you are really suspended to one point and you're completely unstable around all these points at the same time, like in a helicopter. In an airplane, normally you're stable on at least one axis. Here you're unstable on all three axes, and you have to dissociate your feet and your stick. Very often you're left with a stick and right with the rudders to get back in the airflow. So maybe the helicopter is a good way to train for flying Solar Impulse.
Yeah, that must take some getting used to. And you certainly have, from the time that you first flew in Switzerland, I know our members read about those achievements, through our website and everything else, and then for you to take the airplane to America, disassembled obviously, and then reassemble it up in near San Francisco. I mean, it seems like it's been one of those achievements that has so many parts and so many people that have contributed and help the effort.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a big team, and it's a team of people who are extraordinary. People who cope with a lot of workload, of new solutions to look for, creativity, invent new answers, and this is just wonderful. And what is great also is to see how much enthusiasm it raises also amongst the people we approach, like the air traffic controllers. The FAA in America has been so helpful. When we arrived from Europe and we were saying that we wanted to fly across America, they immediately said, "Oh, you are welcome, that's great, an experimental airplane like this one, that's interesting, that's useful." You see, there are people who love aviation, and this is wonderful.
So speaking of the controllers and just as you approach your different landing spots, can you sort of take us through what it's going to be like as you approach DC and how that all works? Do you receive like clearance from other air traffic? Are they making a special approach for you?
Well, a lot of the time we are just integrated into the normal traffic. I remember when I was flying over the San Francisco Bay, over the Golden Gate, to make the pictures and the films. I was just in the middle of the traffic and coordinated like everyone else, except I had a 747 under my feet. I have a 737 on my side, another Airbus overhead, and I was there, and everything was smooth, everything was under control. Now for the landings and the approach, this is a little bit more tricky, because of course we chose a lot of very big airports, and in this case we land after they stop the traffic, and they can shut down the runway that we use. This means that we have to take off very early in the morning. Often it's 4 o'clock in the morning, and we land at 1 o'clock in the morning the following day, in order not to disturb anybody. But it goes well like this. On smaller airports, we can land earlier because there is less traffic, and we can be integrated into the circle.
Okay. Well, I tell you, we're all really, watching this journey, and as I understand it, after DC, can you describe what happens after that?
Yes, we have 1 week of events in DC, with the Secretary of Energy, with congressmen, with senators. All these people are very, very interested about these clean technologies that we are demonstrating and promoting with Solar Impulse. And after that, it's my colleague and friend André Borschberg who will fly the plane for the last leg to New York and the land of JFK. That was so nice because, when we were looking for an airport in the New York region, it's the people of JFK themselves who told us, "Oh, please come in JFK, we want to make big events there, invite the public, present Solar Impulse on our airport." So we will finish the Across America flight mission on the mythical airport of Kennedy.
And then can you tell about the around the world flight effort?
Yes. So for the around the world, we have another airplane under construction, another experimental airplane, Solar Impulse number 2, which is an airplane made for traveling, really travel, long distance, long duration. Because the first one, the one I'm flying now, was not initially built to travel. We are using it to cross America because it flies so well, and we're surprised to see how beautiful it could be handled. But if we want to cross oceans, we need to to have an airplane with autopilot, watertight wings to fly under the rain, bigger cockpit so the pilot can stretch and relax. And this is everything we have on the second airplane. I think on the website of Solar Impulse you should have very soon a picture of the cockpit of the new airplane, and you will see it's very, very impressive because it is even bigger than the one flying today.
Well, that's great. And do you anticipate your current trip? Is that going to be completed by a certain date? Can you give us an idea of when that'll be done?
So the current flight mission across America should be completed early July, end of June, early July in New York, and the flight around the world should start in the spring of 2015. So we have a little bit less than 2 years. Time goes fast. When we build experimental airplanes, we have to test, simulate, check everything. But hopefully it will be ready for 2015.
Well, it looks like to me that since your current flight is going to be over in early July, you might have a little time to maybe swing over to Oshkosh and maybe tell us about the progress and how things are going. What do you say?
Why not? Why not? I don't have a very clear view on the program that will happen after the landing in New York, because we have a lot of things everywhere. Just remind me the dates. Is it starting already end of July or is it early August?
It's actually both. It starts July 29 on Monday, and then it runs through the following Sunday, August 4th.
Yes, so I know that I will be busy at least until that moment, because I have other commitments during that time. So it's going to be difficult this year. But, you know, Solar Impulse is a long-haul project, and I have other moments to come again to Oshkosh. This I promise you I will come again, because it's such a great experience.
Well, we absolutely are pretty much in the same fraternity, experimental aviation, and the innovation behind what you're doing is just outstanding. And obviously, right now it's sort of in its infancy, and we are just really excited to see what will happen as a result of this, as like the first step towards sort of weaning us away from the internal combustion engine and the fossil fuels and things like that. I mean, that would just be an absolute breakthrough for the world, and we're excited to see that you're sort of the pioneer in this effort.
Yes, you are right. Electrical motors are really important. You know, the electrical motors that we have developed for the next airplane, and we worked on this with Omega, the watch company, who is in the Swatch group, also a big electronic micro-technology company. We have developed electrical motors of 94% efficiency, including the mechanical gear. And when you see a thermal engine that has normally 25-26%, you see that really the future is for electrical motors.
Well, that's really impressive. Very, very good. Well, Bertrand, thank you so much for speaking with me today, and very excited for you, and best of luck as you reach your destination, Washington, D.C., and then also in New York City.
Thank you very much, Rick. It was a pleasure to hear you, to have you in the cockpit with me for a moment. And please say hello to all your team, to Tom, to all your committee, and everybody I know around you. Please transmit all my greeting and friendship.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.